Hey Pro-Life Gen, welcome to this new How to Win the Debate episode of the Explicitly Pro-Life podcast. I'm your host, Kristan Hawkins. Today, the question is, do babies in the womb feel pain? Historically, we have seen when talking about the pain, the intense pain that children feel while they're being murdered, while they're being aborted, shifts public opinion about abortion. Why? Because most people do not want to think of abortion actually hurting babies. They've been misled into believing that abortion is simply the removal of some tissue or a clump of cells that's absolutely meaningless. But when we start talking about the pain that children feel during an abortion procedure, it really starts the question in a lot of folks' minds is, what does abortion actually do? And is there an actual child or baby in the womb? This is why talking about pain can be very important in your conversations with your friends and family members who may not agree with you. Now, this you'll see sometimes when they're having the debate, if your state legislature is debating a fetal pain law, sometimes you'll see those on the other side say, that's not true. Babies in the womb don't feel pain. Well, that's simply not true. If you look at medical journals, for example, a famous one comes to mind just 2 years ago, the Journal of Medical Ethics had a piece produced by two scientists, one pro-life and the other pro-choice, pro-abortion, who agreed that essentially the function of pain, the ability of the body to send signals to the brain to say that you're experiencing pain are already in place as early as 12 and a half weeks after conception. Now, that's at the end of the first trimester, right around where the majority of abortions in America are committed. But a lot of people say, well, that's just one journal, that doesn't count. I think an easy way to kind of start this discussion is children who have spina bifida. So today in America, because our medical technology is so amazing, children who are diagnosed in the womb with spina bifida can actually be surgically operated on while still in the womb. So I think it was Rainbow Babies in Cleveland, Ohio, was one of the first hospitals that started these procedures where they actually will open the mother's abdomen, open up the placenta, pull out a portion of the child. So the child will be like partially born. The child has to be anesthetized for this procedure, and then the child's placed back in the mother's tummy to gestate longer so lungs and the rest of the body can develop before a normal full-term delivery is made. Doctors have to give these children pain medicine because they know if they don't, during the surgery, the stimuli, the painful stimuli, when you're in pain, it increases your stress hormones. And they've already been able to prove that's the same for a child in utero, which is why anesthesia has to be administered to children in the womb around 18 weeks or so when they do these spina bifida and other operations. That's amazing. And these are scientific truths. This is what medicine allows us to do. So I would encourage you when you're having conversations to talk about this. I think talking about the stories of children, going to Google, typing in these surgeries and looking for yourself some of these beautiful images. There's one iconic image of one of these very first surgeries that happened where the child's hand is outside of the womb, above the mother's stomach, grasping on the surgeon's finger. It's unbelievable. And that's undeniable at that point, that what is inside of a mother is not just simply a clump of cells or a meaningless blob of tissue. It's a unique, whole, living human being, a baby who deserves the right to life and deserves his or her life to be protected. It's very simple. However, I do want to give you a caveat. The ability to feel pain is not what makes you a person of value and of worth. There's actually a very rare genetic defect. It's called congenital insensitivity to pain, CITP. You can Google this, that actually prevents humans from feeling pain. This is a syndrome that's actually present at birth. And it's extremely dangerous. In fact, they found that people who experience this do have a reduced life expectancy, because especially, children, they can kind of feel sharpness versus dullness, but they can't feel like when they're biting through their finger and causing a deep wound to take place. This is actually a medical syndrome. It's very rare, but the cases have been diagnosed across the world. Those people who were born with that genetic syndrome, they still have value. Their lives still have worth. They still should be protected and deserve the right to be protected from violence. Just because they, who are born, have an inability to feel pain does not make them less human or less deserving of human rights. And it's the same with a child of womb. Even if you can't get the person you're having a conversation with abortion about to, acknowledge the journals that are out there, some saying, some of the studies saying as early as 12 and a half weeks, other studies say 16 weeks, others say 18 weeks, others say 20 weeks. Even if you can't get the person you're having a conversation with to acknowledge, medical journals and science, I think you can also go and have a conversation with that person about the philosophical debate, about the fact that your ability to feel pain does not change your value and your worth and your dignity. And I would start with this syndrome as a good case study for you to use. Hopefully that helps when you have these conversations with your friends and families about babies and the pain they feel during abortions. Now go win some debates.